be a different video to what I usually film, because I've recently started doing vlogs on my channel. Well, not recently, but I started vlogging last year, and it was something I did for a few months and I just didn't have time to do it. So then I kind of stopped doing it, but my videos are going to from now on be more vloggy, or the vlog type, in terms of be a bit more like natural and less sort of formalized. I mean, I know I'm sitting down for this, but as you probably would have seen, or hopefully you would have seen, the starting of this video is the same as my last few videos. It's still vloggy, and I'll still be doing like clips of like things here and there. So I'm gonna get straight into it. I was asked this question a very long time ago. I think the girl that asked me, her name is Zara. I'm pretty sure her name is Zara, so if you're watching this, hello, this video is for you specifically and for anyone else who's interested. And she requested a video on how to break into the finance industry. And I remember when I was like back at school, back at uni, I actually did search YouTube. I thought maybe someone who films beauty videos or films some kind of videos would have filmed a video on how to break into finance. Obviously they didn't, and yeah, so I thought it was really interesting that you asked me this question, and I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to you any sooner, because, you know, like so much has been going on, and I do plan on doing videos, but then sometimes, like I think in the last year or so, I've been in a battle in terms of do I film sit down videos or do I film sort of vlog videos, and now I think I've found the perfect balance for me. I'm hoping this is just going to be a bit of general chit chat, just advice, just things I've kind of picked up. There's going to be no sort of structure to this little vlog section, or to this little section of my vlog, because I haven't prepared for this. Back to how to break into the finance industry. I'm not really going to tell you where I work or anything like that, but I do know a lot about the finance industry. You know, even though I might not work in the finance industry, or financial services, in the financial services sector, I have a lot of information that I can share. To be honest, it's not really about how to do so well at an interview, it's more about how to get the interview in the first place. Because I know applying for jobs at investment banks, consultancies, regular banks, and generally in the financial services sector is so difficult, in the sense that to even get an interview, i.e. get to the final stage, it's hard work. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how you can pass those few stages to get an interview and to finally make a break, or to finally break into the finance industry. So starting off with, do your research. It's so cliche, so typical, but if you want to apply to JP Morgan and you want to work at JP Morgan, you have to know about JP Morgan. You have to know about its culture, you have to know about a little bit of history. Won't, you know, do any harm. You have to know about its operations, the scale of the organization, and it goes for any organization. If you're applying to JP Morgan, if you're applying to Goldman Sachs, HSBC, Citigroup, anywhere, Barclays, Lloyds. Know your info, know when EY started, know how many people they employ, know a little bit about its operations and what specifically they do, and the range of products that they offer or services that they offer. Having that sort of background information, or knowing about its history, and knowing about the firm you're applying for, and, you know, knowing like certain information like the culture they have, the values they adopt, their beliefs. Knowing all of those key elements is only going to put you at an advantage. The questions that you have to answer, like, why do you want to work at JP Morgan? Why do you think Goldman Sachs is the best place for you to work? What about EY stands out to you? You know, those type of questions. You want to know about those companies. If you don't show that you have any knowledge or interest of that company, that you probably won't even get through that stage. You have to know about the company, you have to know certain facts, key facts, which are going to help you be passionate and show that you have an interest in it. So show that you know, and knowledge is power, as they say, and it really is when it comes to application forms. And sort of this sort of piece of advice follows through to the end. Even when you are in the interview stage, know or show that you know. The next thing is basically those online tests. Practice, practice, practice to get a job at a bank. to get a job at a investment bank, at a consultancy, you will have to pass online tests. And if you think you can't pass them, well then tough luck, you have to pass them. You won't get a job at these companies unless you are experienced hire, but even then, in some cases and in most, they do have online tests. So make sure you practice a lot of these tests, a lot of these aptitude online tests that they have. Usually it's just numerical and verbal, and you've just got to get good at them. Trust me guys, I used to be so bad at them. It came to a point that I had practiced, or I had done so many, I was pretty certain that I was doing the numerical tests and getting 100%, because practice makes perfect. And guys, with these SHL tests that most of these banks use, it is really all about reading the question and making sure you understand it and not overcomplicate it. Sometimes they'll just use like 2 words, which you'll probably read it at like initially the question and then start working out doing all these working outs. But if you read it slowly, if you read the question slowly, literally for what it is, you will know, or you will find that the calculations are not so difficult. If you cannot do a question, do not guess the answer. This is something that I used to do when I first started applying for internships in my second year at uni. I would just guess the answer. Do not guess. Leave the question, skip the question, don't put in any answer, because you get marked on the questions that you get right, which is what I've been told, and I'm pretty sure it's true, because as soon as I started to skip questions, I started to pass these numerical tests. Only skip like 1 or 2. So if there's 18 questions, skip 1, skip 2, that's fine. You haven't necessarily failed if you have done all the other questions or gotten the correct answers. So that is that. Make sure you practice those tests and make sure you answer the questions that you know are right. I'm not saying do 5 questions out of 18, but even if you do 12 questions out of 18 and you skipped 6 questions, you have more of a chance passing than if you done 18 out of 18 questions and you guessed 6 or you guessed 10. And I think the last sort of piece of advice is only apply, to break into the financial services industry, have a bit of industry knowledge. So, if you know about that company in specific, know who their competitors are. So this sort of links in with the first bit of advice. Know who their rivals are. Know about a company's competitors, the general economy state and what's going on, and any piece of news that you might have heard about that company, or even about another company who is that company's competitor. And to be honest, I can't really give you much more info other than be passionate, be positive, and do really well on those online tests, because if you fail those, you just won't get through. If you have any specific questions, just ask me and I can let you know. I know you requested for a video specifically on how to break into the finance industry, but the topic is so broad and so vast. It's such a vague question in a sense, because I could talk specifically about application forms, I could talk specifically about assessment centres, online tests or anything like that, and I just wanted to sort of give you an overview, because it is all about the application process and how to ace that process to be even given a chance at a job in the financial services sector. However, this doesn't mean that these tips are just for financial services. They sort of apply to any kind of industry, any kind of sector, any kind of job that you are going for, and mainly graduate jobs. So this kind of applies to graduate jobs, because I know many experienced hire jobs ask for cover letters and CVs, and some don't do like online tests or anything. I'm going to quickly cut it short here. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of video. Let me know what you think about this style of video. Sorry for talking really fast, but I'm going to go because I've got to go. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.